Welcome to this introductory walk around video on the Honda CR-V. We are incredibly proud of this vehicle, and globally it is the #1 best-selling SUV vehicle. So what we would like to do is take you around the vehicle and showcase things on the outside for you, the inside of the vehicle, also technology and the safety of the car. Now, it's available in two different engine formats, so we've got a 1.5 litre petrol and also our hybrid version. And that's really important to us because for 2022 we want all of our mainstream vehicles to be electrified. We have a strong muscular look for the CR-V, whether you're looking at it from the front, the lines at the side or of the rear of the vehicle. If we think about the dimensions, lengthwise it's 4,603 millimetres. From a width point of view, measuring to the tips of the door mirrors with those folded out, so the widest it's ever going to be is 2,117 millimetres. And from a height point of view, it's just 1,679. We can see the really attractive 18-inch alloy wheels that we've got on this hybrid CR-V. So incredibly good looking wheels there. While we're actually at the front of the vehicle looking at them, it's probably worthwhile mentioning, depending on which grade of vehicle you're going for, you have the option of a two-wheel drive CR-V, which would drive the front wheels only. And we also have the intelligent all-wheel drive system. So this is going to give you that incredible peace of mind, knowing that you can really allow the car to maximise the levels of traction. The great news is when you're inside the car, there's no levers, no buttons, you don't need to operate anything. Because it's intelligent, it will actually apportion the amount of drive it needs either to the front wheels or front and rear wheels. So even in all-wheel drive mode, it could still be front-wheel drive, maximising fuel economy, and it can send as much or as little power to the rear wheels as it needs to get you that safe traction. The CR-V benefits from full LED lighting. That's the lights at the front, which is daytime running lights, low beam, main beam, and also the indicators. And at the rear of the car, both the tail lights and the brake lights, all full LED. So if we focus on the lights at the front, what that means is you'll be more easily seen because of the light being brighter. The lights are actually going to project further, so that again you're safer on the road, being able to see further ahead. And also the light it creates is more like daylight. So when we're driving at night time, we're going to get less eye fatigue because we've got more like a daytime light when we're driving. Added to this, on some of the grades, we have something called active cornering lighting. What these will do at lower speeds is illuminate a couple of LEDs in the sort of the lower part of the front lights. This is to illuminate maybe a gate, a bollard, something of that nature as you're manoeuvring at lower speeds. So by putting roughly a quarter of a turn on the steering wheel or indicating in the direction of travel, it will actually illuminate those cornering lights for you, which is absolutely fantastic. If you select reverse, it will actually illuminate both because, of course, if you steer left, then actually the car goes right. So a really fantastic feature, again, to keep you safer and hopefully not knock into things. When it comes to gaining access to your vehicle, we obviously have our remote, and we've got our unlock and our lock buttons on the remote there. So if I just press the unlock button, I can get to the car and, of course, open the door. Closing the door, then we can press the lock button and the car is locked. Absolutely brilliant. There is another feature off the remote as well though, because what we can do, imagine it's a nice sort of hot day, there's some temperature inside the car that we want to get rid of. If you unlock the car and then you press and hold that again, it will actually wind the windows down, and depending on the grade, it'll also roll back the panorama roof as well, letting that residual heat out so that then you can get into the car, start up the engine, get the air conditioning on nice and cool, and then fire the windows up. Now, the flip side of that is that if the windows are down, you can lock the car by pressing the lock button, and if you press and hold it for a second time, it will pop the windows up, close the sunroof, and also fold in the door mirrors. Now, if you only wanted your windows halfway up, you'd just simply let go of that button at the point where the windows are exactly where you want them. So that's two ways we can use the remote here. However, if we wanted to use the keyless type system, what we can do, because the car's locked now, but I'm in the detection zone, I can simply just put my hand in behind the door handle and it will unlock the door for me, which is brilliant. And of course, now I've opened the door, the electric mirror folds out. To lock the car, I literally just put my fingers over the touch sensors there, and again, if I want to do that for a second time, it will fold in those door mirrors for me, making it incredibly easy to use. The powertrain on this particular CR-V is hybrid, so we have a 2-motor system on here. Also in the range we do have a traditional 1.5 litre petrol engine with turbo, but we'll focus on the hybrid because that's what this particular vehicle has got. Now, it will give you 184 PS of power. Because it's an electric motor system, it has incredible torque, 315 Newton meters of torque, which is always available because it's an electric motor. What that's going to give you on the combined cycle, the official figure is 40.9 miles per gallon. What you'll find is if you do more of a mix of maybe some urban driving, you're really likely to see much closer, if not higher, than the urban figure, which is 52.3 miles per gallon. So the fuel economy of these is incredible, and the more you can drive these in sort of the urban environment, the more you will actually see that fuel economy increase over and above those sort of stated figures that we've got there. So you're probably thinking, how does this system work? Well, we have a 2-litre petrol engine, which it literally acts as a generator. That will actually generate electricity and store it in the high voltage battery at the back of the car. That can then send it to the front of the car, to a power control unit, and what that will do is say where the electricity needs to go. So it can go to the road wheels, driven by one of those electric motors. And that can propel you completely in EV mode or electric vehicle mode, and there are absolutely at that point 0 tailpipe emissions. You could be in hybrid mode where the petrol engine is actually spinning the generator to create electricity, but the driven wheels are still being powered from an electric motor. Or you could be in engine mode where the engine is turning and the generator and the drive motor, these 2 electric motors, are actually kind of locked together. So the petrol engine is driving through those motors to the road wheels, which is why you'll never feel sort of any step in power delivery between EV or electric vehicle mode, hybrid mode, or engine mode. Absolutely seamless through the ECVT. On the roof of the CR-V, we actually have roof rails already there. So again, for that sort of active lifestyle that we've got with the CR-V, that's going to be fantastic, allowing us to fit some roof rails across there, maybe a cycle carrier, roof box, whatever it is that's going to make your life easier and help you carry those things to those destinations. Now, on this particular grade, we actually have the panorama roof as well. So when that is actually slid back, we also have a wind deflector that will actually pop up just in front of it, so that you get no buffeting inside the vehicle when that roof is open. So we install Honda sensing on every single CR-V and every single grade. It's a comprehensive suite of safety features, some to help reduce driver fatigue and some to actually help reduce the likelihood of accidents. At the front of the car, just underneath the H badge, you will notice that's where the radar is. That can help us when we're looking for solid objects ahead, or when the car is. Lorries, vans, trucks. For things like adaptive cruise control and collision mitigation braking system. At the top of the windscreen, we'll see a number of sensors. They could be daylight sensors, rain sensors, and we've also got a multi-purpose camera there as well. So if we focus on just one of the excellent features that we have in sensing, and we'll take a look at lane keep assist. This assists us keeping in the lane. So traditionally, when you're on a motorway or dual carriageway, even on a straight road, you're putting in tiny little corrections to stay in a straight line. With the combination of the multi-purpose camera and the electronic power steering that the car has, it will actually do those on my behalf. That's going to reduce the inputs I need to put into the steering, meaning my fatigue as a driver is reduced. Again, keeping me safer. It can also warn you if you're making an unintentional departure from that lane. So if you don't indicate, actually the car will give you audible and visual warning that you might be unintentionally crossing that lane. Of course, if you do indicate, the car does nothing because you've shown it your intention to change lane. As I say, this is just one element of a comprehensive suite of safety and convenience features that we've put into Honda sensing. At the rear of the car, if we start at the top of the tailgate, you'll see a purposeful spoiler there, which not only enhances the actual overall look of the vehicle, is actually going to help reduce any drag caused at the back of the vehicle, improving emissions. Further down from that, we actually have, again, grade dependent, but we have privacy glass from the rear side windows all the way through to the back window as well on the tailgate, helping to keep the temperature inside the car that little bit cooler on those warm days, and of course, giving you the privacy as you'd imagine. Now, to open the tailgate, we have here the hands-free access power tailgate. So I've got a couple of ways I can actually open this. I have a button inside the car. I can touch the handle on the back of the car, which is discreetly above the number plate here. I could press the button on my remote, or indeed I could actually, with the hands-free access element of this, just kick my leg forwards to activate the sensors underneath the rear bumper, and the tailgate will actually raise up. Now, I can actually adjust the height to which the tailgate will go. So once it's open, you can actually adjust it. We've got a little set button there, and then the next time that you come to the car, it will open to the level that you've preset it at, which is a really, really useful feature. If you've got maybe a low roof in your garage, or you're in a hotel car park with a lower roof, something of that nature. So now we're actually looking inside the vehicle. You'll notice we have a tonneau cover there. So that's really easy to use, and if you wanted to, really easy to remove and reinstall, because we know this car is capable of carrying massive loads. So that just adds to the flexibility. So if you are carrying things in the back of the car with that tonneau cover in place and the seats up, we've got 497 litres of usable boot space in the back there. However, if you want to fold the seats down, you could do that by using the levers on the top of the seats, or actually pulling these levers either side of the boot here. They'll fold down. You could take the tonneau cover out, and that'll give you a massive 1,697 litres if we take it up to the roof of the car. So, as we say, a massive amount of carrying capability in this vehicle. But it's not just internally, we can actually carry lots of things on the outside of the vehicle as well. So for the very first time, we can now tow with a hybrid, which is fantastic news, and we can go up to 750 kilos of load on there. If you wanted to tow a little bit more than that, we can actually do up to 2,000 kilograms with our 1.5 litre turbo. Now, when it comes to closing the tailgate, again, you've got a number of ways of doing it. So you can use the button inside the car, the button on the tailgate, the button on the remote, or of course you can use the hands-free operation with a movement of your leg forwards on the car. Now we're inside, first thing that I notice is the comfort levels of these seats. They're absolutely incredible. And of course we've got premium leather seats here, which are heated in the front and actually on the back as well. I also have an incredible amount of space, whether I was the driver, the passenger, or a rear seat passenger. And it's not just space for people we've got as well. We've mentioned the boot space, but also we've got lots of storage for drinks, phones, and even tablets. So when it comes to driving the car, all of our transmission features are nice and laid out, easily to use in front of us there. So like a traditional auto, but rather than having the stick to move them, we've got soft, easy to press buttons on there for drive, etc. So once we've selected D for drive, we can then think about the buttons on the left hand side. Now the great news is you can use them if you want to, but you needn't. So let's suggest you do want to use them. You can press sport button, which will give you more punchy acceleration. If you wanted to select Econ, that will actually soften the throttle response, so give you a bit more fuel economy, and also it helps your climate control and your cruise control be a little bit more efficient as well. We've also got an EV button underneath, and what that will do is, as long as the conditions are suitable, you can actually force the car into EV or electric vehicle mode at that point in time. On the right hand side, we've got our electronic parking brake, so it's really easy to use. There's no pressure involved in actually applying it or taking that parking brake off. Another really good benefit is it frees up all this space, not having a mechanical or cable operated parking brake. And it also means that we've got brake hold facility, which is brilliant. So it literally holds the brake pressure on, and if you've selected that at the start of your journey, when you come to a stop at, say, a set of traffic lights or a roundabout, you no longer need to actually apply the parking brake. Basically, the car holds the brakes on for you, and as soon as you drive off, it will release those brakes for you. Absolutely brilliant. So in this car, we actually have electrically operated adjustment for the driver's seat, which is brilliant because that allows us to have different memory positions. So we've got driver 1 and driver 2, which will be denoted on the back of your key fob. So if driver 2 has left it in their position, lock the car up, and as long as driver 1 has set their position, as soon as they open the door, the incline, the height, the angle of the seat will be all set for them by the time they actually get into the vehicle. And for me as a passenger, I've also got seat height adjustment. Right in the centre of the car, we have our Connect screen. That's our infotainment system. Once we're in there, we have the ability to Bluetooth connect our mobile phone, so we can make and receive phone calls hands-free. We've got the ability to use Android Auto or Apple's CarPlay in there as well. You use the associated features through the system off our phone. The sat-nav feature on there as well, which we pre-install the Garmin app, so you can use that as well. Added to which we've got all of our audio possibilities, play music through USB, iPod, or maybe even using your iPhone as an iPod. HDMI is a possibility that we've got there. We've got DAB, FM radio that we can listen to as well, all through this Connect system that we've actually got on there. When it comes to charging any of those mobile devices, we have lots of power outlets on the vehicle. So the traditional 12-volt power socket, we have one at the front, we've got one lower in the centre section and one also in the boot area. In this lower section, we've also got a 1 and another 1.5 amp USB socket. This is brilliant for smartphones, particularly the 1.5 amp, and that's how we'd plug them in when we're using Android Auto or Apple's CarPlay. Just at the back by the rear ventilation that we've got for the rear seat passengers, we've got two 2.5 amp USB sockets. Again, brilliant for actually charging up tablets for anybody in the back of the vehicle. So we have dual zone climate control on CR-V. So what that means is, over and above traditional air conditioning, you can preset the exact temperature that you want, so for the comfort of everybody inside the vehicle, which is brilliant. The advantage of dual zone climate control is that you can have a separate temperature on the driver's side of the car to the passengers. So again, just making sure everybody's as comfortable as possible inside the car. And what we also have is a rear vent for the rear passengers. So again, they've got air conditioning that they can adjust the direction of, or even close those vents if they needed to. So right up here we have our sunglasses holder, and if you press it one more time it doubles up as the conversation mirror. Now this is particularly useful if you've got kids in the back of the car and you hear a noise. Rather than you having to look over your shoulder to check if everything's okay, you can simply look up at the conversation mirror, make sure everything is okay while your eyes are still facing forwards and keeping you safe on the road. Another amazing feature that all CR-Vs benefit from is eCall, or emergency call. This is a way the car can actually call through to the emergency services. Now you can press the button if you want to call them, or actually should there be an accident where the airbags go off, the car will actually do it on your behalf. So this is a fantastic feature to have on the car that we hope you never need to use, but it's just like having that guardian angel sitting on your shoulder. Another great feature that we've got on this CR-V is our head-up display. So this is a little screen that we can get to pop out of the dashboard, and it will give you key information right in your line of view. Adding to the luxurious feel inside the CR-V, we've got a premium leather-bound steering wheel. Now the steering wheel on this car is also heated, which is going to make it fantastic in those winter months. And some controls just on the inside of the wheel allow you to make those little adjustments that you might be wanting to make while you're driving, whether that's changing the radio station, it could be changing the display on your head-up display, so different pages on there, it could be setting your lane keeping assist, or simply just tuning from the music on your USB to listening to digital radio. Again, keeping your eyes on the road, hands on the steering wheel, making sure we're nice and safe. In addition to the Honda sensing, we have blind spot information and cross-traffic monitor on this CR-V. 2 extra features using radars at the back of the car to help keep you safer. So blind spot information is literally looking for vehicles either side of you, could be the near side or the off side, and if there's a vehicle in your blind spot, it will let you know by a visual representation in the door mirror, and if you indicate, it will actually give you visible and audible warnings so that you know if there's nothing shown in that door mirror, you're safe to make that manoeuvre. Now, cross-traffic monitor is a really useful feature. So if we've driven into a parking space and then we've got 2 big vehicles that are parked to the side of us, so we can't actually see out of our side mirrors, cross-traffic monitor is using those radars at the back of the car to see if there's a vehicle passing behind us. And if there is, it'll give us, again, a visual and an audible warning from the meters there. The little arrows will even tell us in which direction the vehicle is approaching from, so we can wait for it to clear and, again, safely reverse out of that spot. So when you're driving, there's key information you want to have readily available. That could be things like your actual speed. So we've got a nice clear digital dash in front of us that will tell us our miles per hour. If you're abroad, you can change that to kilometres an hour at literally the touch of a button. Other items that we have on there, of course, we have a fuel gauge, we have information on traffic sign recognition, just confirming that we're in a 60-mile-an-hour zone at the moment, or whatever it might be. But the information that's on there is really clear, easy to access, and even if it's things like, what's my instantaneous fuel economy, I can get those figures up literally at the press of a button off the steering wheel. Nice and easy. So thank you for spending the time to go around this car with me, from the outside, the inside, and the technologies on the car. I hope you'll agree this is a fantastic car. If you should have any more questions or you'd like to book a test drive, please feel free to contact your local dealer who'll be delighted to hear from you.